Hello, I think I'm live. As usual, give me 1 second to reload my YouTubes so I can see it all with you. Hopefully, I will not be at all pixelated tonight with my fancy new internet. Come on, YouTube, catch up. All right, there we go. Hi, look, I'm not blurry. Ha ha. Hi, everyone. Hi, Mark and Sam, Sarah, Jan, Kathy, Jess, Little Lady Di, Kitty, Catnip. Hi, guys. I'm so happy to see you all here tonight. And I can't believe this. Look, I'm not blurry. I'm just, man. So what I did, just talk about the internet for a second. The past couple of live streams, I've been very upset at the quality of them because I tried everything I could on my end to make it not blurry, because who wants to sit there and watch pixelation for an hour? But I called my internet company when I did a speed test with the help of Zan, who's one of the admin here. And I was like, I'm only getting 14 megabytes per second download and 0.15 up. That's not okay. So I called AT&T and they're like, oh, well, the max we can give you is 18 megabytes per second. I'm like, I thought you were the leaders in telecommunication. Your competitors offering me 400 down and 120 up. Why can't you do that? Oh, well, we're trying to expand. I was like, dude, I've been here for 15 years. How long am I supposed to wait for you to expand your service? So I switched over to Spectrum. And they came within 3 days of my phone call. They were here. They installed everything. I have internet, phone, cell phones, cable, the whole works for less than I was paying AT&T. And 400 megabytes down, 120 up. So there you go. Sometimes it's worth making that call. So there you go. I was very excited. I have been downloading everything on the internet just because I can, And right now I'm streaming to you. And there are 3 other people in the home, my husband and 2 kids, and they're all on their computers, tablets, everything's going, and there's no lag. So yay. I'm so excited. So the other benefit to this is my uploading for videos. Last night I made a video about preliminary hearings. A lot of people are asking me what preliminary hearings are. So I did an explanation video so you'll know what to expect as we go forward in this case. And it took me 3 minutes to upload it. Typically, those videos of that length taking me 2 to 3 hours to upload. So this is going to change things around here. Expect to see a lot more videos. I'll be able to do longer videos because I won't have to be afraid of the upload time. So it's going to be cool. I'm very excited. So that's what's going on with me. How are you all doing? Hi, Cosmos. Cosmos is Zan, the guy I was talking to you about. He is an admin here. He handles all of our back-end stuff. So we have a lot of changes coming. We're going to be professionalizing the channel, so to speak. So I'll be doing a lot of work this week to bring that to you with his help. Hi, Stephanie. How are you? Hey, Steph. It's so good to see you here. Guys, remember the Facebook group that I talk about all the time, True Crime Underground. Go ahead and apply to join there. It's a must-see. So thank you for being here, Stephanie. Hi, Little Lady Di, Robin Swan. Mark, I said hi to you, but hi again. Greyhead Jen, how are you doing? Sherilyn, Jennifer, Liz, Robin. I know people hate watching live streams back when we sit here and say hi to everyone. But, these are guests. These are people who come to see me. So I got to say hi to them. So I'm sorry if you don't like that. But, these people are awesome. So hi, guys. I'm glad you're all here. So tonight, there's a lot going on in the case, but there also isn't a lot going on in the case. So I thought we'd just wrap up what happened this week. And we have some stuff coming up like tomorrow. So let's get ready for that. And then I'll take your questions. If you guys have any questions about the case, if there's anything else big going on in the world that you want to talk about, just drop it in chat and we'll get going. So I do love you guys, Robin Swan. Absolutely. I wub you, as you say. Yeah. So tomorrow, we have a hearing in the case tomorrow, 2:30 p.m. Mountain Time. So 3:30 p.m. Central, 4:30 p.m. Eastern, so on and so forth for other time zones. What's happening tomorrow is there's going to be a hearing about Rob Wood's motion to reconsider. So, sorry, I'm keeping one eye on chat while I'm trying to talk. Rob Wood filed a motion last week, a motion to reconsider. He's asking Judge Edens to ban the cameras from the courtrooms for the preliminary hearings. And my instant reaction to that was, no, I really want to see these hearings. But then I thought, all right, maybe there's a reason that they should be. But then I'm thinking, but he also said that he would release audio and transcript of the hearings right after. So if you're going to release all the information from the hearings, why not have a camera? All right. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on with this motion. And what I've come to decide for myself, my opinion about what Rob Wood is doing, is just trying to force the hand of Mark Means and John Pryor, trying to get them to go on record, as they now have done, saying that they want cameras in the courtroom. If they say that on record, and that is their response to this motion, they can never come back later on and use that as grounds for an appeal, mistrial, or dismissal by saying, the jury was tainted because the preliminary hearings were on camera. It's like, oh, you wanted them on camera, remember? So I think Rob Woods has kind of cut them off at the knees on that argument with this filing. And I think that's what's really happening. Do I know that for sure? Of course not. That's simply my opinion, but it kind of makes sense. I think Rob Wood is playing them for the inexperienced lawyers that they are. So interesting. Now, tomorrow is this hearing to discuss the issue of cameras in the courtroom, right? Rob Wood filed the motion saying we don't want cameras, which forced Mark Means, sort of, we'll talk about that in a minute, and John Pryor to come out and say, yes, we want cameras, of course we do. But instead of just those two parties, well, technically three, now we have another party involved in the mix. Nate Eaton from East Idaho News published an article the other day, link is in the description of yesterday's video, where East Idaho News retained attorney Stephen Wright, and he filed a motion on behalf of local and national media sources saying that they want cameras in the courtroom. So they're going to be involved in this hearing tomorrow as well. It's going to be interesting. This hearing will, I say will loosely, this hearing should be televised because that is currently Judge Eden's standing order. Has not been argued yet, so there's no reason to believe that tomorrow's hearing will not be streamed. So I'll be bringing that to you live tomorrow, 2:30 p.m. Mountain Time. So figure out what that is in your time zone. It's 3:30 Central. So I'll be going live probably about 2:45 or 3 o'clock. So we'll have some time to talk about it before it starts. And I will stream it to you live here, either through Judge Eden's own personal stream or through East Idaho News, with all credit to them, of course. So, but we're going to watch it here and we're going to talk about what happened. So that's going to be kind of interesting. So what do you guys think about cameras in the courtroom? No, Robin says, no cameras. No. I love Nate, but I don't want a retrial. Cameras in the courtroom for the preliminary hearing are not really grounds for a mistrial. They're really not. They would have to be able to prove that the preliminary hearing stream themselves are what caused the jury to be tainted. That's not likely to be a possible thing to prove. Look at all of the information that we've seen so far in the case. It's been on Dateline. It's been on 48 Hours. It's all over the internet. The live stream of a preliminary hearing, that's not going to make much of a difference at all, do you think? So, the only difference is that there may be more information in the preliminary hearing than we've seen so far. And maybe that could be rather inflammatory. So there's a little bit of an argument there. But the counter to that, and this is my position on this whole mess, is preliminary hearings are public traditionally. All right. They're meant to be available to the public. But because of the COVID pandemic and the restrictions, the public cannot just walk into the courtroom. All right. You can only access it if it's even an in-person hearing, which this might be a Zoom hearing, for witnesses, attorneys, defendants, that kind of thing. So it's not like I can go to the courtroom and just walk in and sit down in the gallery like I should be able to do. All right. So if you can't access the courtroom because of the pandemic, then the next possible solution is to live stream it through the Zoom, as Judge Edens has been doing. And that was his ruling. So given that, then, yeah, I think we should be able to see it. I really do. So let's talk about what's going to happen at a preliminary hearing that might be part of the issue coming up here. All right. The preliminary hearing is, a lot of people think that this is the trial. This is not the trial. A preliminary hearing is sort of a mini trial. All right. But what they're trying to prove is the prosecution has to go into the court and prove to the judge that there's enough information and evidence to warrant bringing these charges and going through the criminal proceeding. It's like they have to prove that, yeah, we got enough to go to trial. And the judge says either, yes, you have enough to go to trial, No, you don't. Maybe give you some more time. The judge could reduce the charges. The judge could dismiss the case. All kinds of things can happen in a preliminary hearing. So they're very important. We generally only see prelim hearings when there's a case that involves felony charges and there has been no grand jury indictment. Normally, all of this evidence and information would have already been heard by a grand jury. That grand jury would then decide if this warranted going to trial or not. So because we don't have a grand jury in this case, they're doing a preliminary hearing. Let me just turn off my phone because it's making lots of noise. All right. So what could happen in the prelim? What sort of evidence will we see? The prosecution can call witnesses. All right. And typically they'll be like law enforcement and investigators, people like that. And they'll give testimony about what they saw and heard. Now, interestingly, hearsay evidence is admissible in a preliminary hearing, not admissible at trial. But here, say that you get one of the detectives who showed up at Lori's house that day on the 26th to look for JJ. They can talk about what they heard. Well, so-and-so told me this, and so-and-so said that, and so-and-so said that. They can use that hearsay evidence in a preliminary hearing to convince the judge that they have enough information to go to trial. That's very interesting. Maybe there's something there that Rob Wood doesn't want public. I'm not sure. We're going to have to wait and see. Oh, thank you for the soda. My son brought me a soda. He's a good kid. Oh, maybe he thinks I sound thirsty, which I really am. Let's have a drink. Yeah, the issue about the cameras versus the audio and transcript is if you're going to release the audio and transcript, then why not the video? It doesn't make much difference in my mind. But maybe there's something I'm missing. It's possible. Zelda says, please explain to peeps that only if Lori gets bail is when no contact. As it is now, they can do all the contact they wish. Magic poor. Zelda, I don't believe that's the case. I don't think that they're allowed contact right now. From what, I mean, yes, that is one of the bail restrictions if they are released. But I don't know. Maybe they are allowed contact right now. You know, I'm not really sure exactly. That's not been addressed formally. I would assume that they couldn't have contact. So I don't know. We'll have to see. So I saw something on YouTube saying that they talked to the bail bonds and Chad and Lori have money to get the bond. Deborah, that's not true. That is not true at all. There was a rumor on YouTube earlier this week. Chad and Lori did reach out to A1 bail bonds in Idaho. And when I saw that, I got a little nervous. I'm like, they're not bailing out, are they? So I contacted several people, and I assure you that is not the case. Okay. Chad and Lori did contact the bonds company. They do have enough capital, apparently, to give the down payment, which is the 10%, but they do not have any assets at all to even begin to cover the remaining $2 million balance. So it's not happening. We don't need to worry. Unless somebody really rich pops up, you know, one of their family members suddenly comes into $2 million, the chances of them meeting that are pretty slim. So I'm going to just hope that they're safe where they are. So yes, I did contact the bail bonds company, and I did contact Justin Lum to find out for sure. And yeah, not to worry. Not to worry. Lori is safer in jail than being out. Gary, I agree with you. I hope Lori realizes that too. Per bond, they can't, but through lawyers and family, they can, right? I'm not sure what you mean. The problem is that when you go for a bail, you have to pay 10% of the bond in cash, right? So they would have to come up with what, $200,000 in cash plus the $150,000, so $215,000 in cash. Even if they could do that, you still have to provide collateral for the rest of the amount. So they're looking at $2 million worth of assets. They don't have that. Chad's house is certainly not worth $2 million. Have you seen that house? Probably worth $150,000. Lori doesn't have any assets. She does not own property. So there you go. I'm sorry. I know I'm playing with my mouth. I have a broken tooth over here. It's very, very sharp, and it's poking in the side of my cheek as I talk, and it's very painful. And I was going to go to the dentist tomorrow, but I can't because we have the hearing in the middle of the day. So I don't want to be all, gassed up after being at the dentist and try to cover a live hearing, because that's not going to go well. So I'm going to deal with the pain for today, but you made me see me making some funny faces as we go. Have you heard that Zulema is using the Cox family lawyer? Oh, goodness gracious. I'm not surprised by that, Stephanie, not surprised at all, but I have not heard that, so I can't verify it. But yeah, that I would not be surprised, because Zulema certainly isn't going to come off her own money for an attorney, because that's not her style. She's the biggest grifter I think I've ever seen. The new internet is working brilliantly. Good. I'm glad, Rosie. I'm kind of excited about this, although I'm used to not having to be too fussy about my makeup and hair, because usually I'm all blurry, so it doesn't matter. That's not the case today. Also, my hair is really poofy. As I complained last week, I'm out of my good shampoo, so I'm using Pantene or something. It's not doing me any favors. Try using oil of cloves on your tooth. I would, except it's not, my tooth doesn't hurt at all. There's no pain in my tooth. Just the sharp edge of my tooth is poking into the edge of my cheek, and it's tearing up my cheek, and that really hurts. It's like I want to put a Band-Aid on the inside of my cheek. I don't think that'd go so well. Kathy says, here's a question I have been thinking about. When would Tylee, at almost 17, have been able to get her supposed money that her dad had till what, age 18? Kathy, we don't know anything about that. Even Annie Cushing has said she doesn't know if there was a trust for Tylee or what. She says she's heard the rumors, but nothing has been verified. So we don't know what Tylee might have had in trust, what might have been accessed. It's all speculation right now, so we have no idea. I would assume if there was a trust, it would be at age 18. That would be logical, but I have no actual knowledge of that. Hopefully we'll learn some more about that in trial. How about Lori sell her home on Kauai? Lori does not own a home on Kauai. She was renting an apartment there, or a condo, but they do not own it. So did Alex have $1 million life insurance policy? No idea, Marilyn. No one has just divulged that information. We can assume he did, but we just don't know factually yet. Mother Hen, thank you. That is actually a really good tip. She says put some cumin in a drop of water to make a paste and put on. That really does help with toothaches. But again, it's not my tooth that hurts, just the sharp edge. I might actually take a nail file and just try to file off that tiny little pokey edge, because it really hurt. I gotta cover it. Like maybe put a piece of gum there. A piece of gum, I could stick it over the sharp corner. That would help. Let's see. The same thing kids put over their braces. Oh, Dev's mommy. Dental wax. Excellent. 1 second. Hey, husband? Husband?
Yeah.
David. My darling. One of my wonderful people here in chat suggests something called dental, what's it called? Dental wax that you can find at the store near Dental Floss.
Oh.
Where if you can go get it, I can put a piece of it over the sharp corner, because people with braces use it to keep the braces from tearing at their cheeks and stuff. Could you possibly go get me some of that so I can get through this live stream without my face bleeding?
Dental wax.
Dental wax. Thank you. Dev's mommy, thank you so much. Don't use gum, dental wax. All right. I just asked my husband. He's going to go and look for some. Thank you so much, because that would make me so happy, because this is really painful. But you know what? A little pain is worth it to come talk to you guys. I've missed y'all. It's been a long week. All right. So, hypothetically, if they bonded and then suicided, what happens to the bond? That's a good question. That is a good question. Hot Scorpio Rouge, I will turn that over to one of our legal people. Lori Hellis, I have a link in the description, I think, or I will, certainly after the video. I will forward that question to her and some of our other legal minds around here. If anyone knows what happens if you commit suicide while you're out on a very large bond, what happens to that bond? That's a good question. I don't think Alex had life insurance. There's no reason for a single man with no kids to have life insurance, unless he was married to Zulema, who happened to work for insurance and investments companies, and unless Lori thought that would be a good way to get some money. I would like to know if anyone took out a life insurance policy on Alex around that time. We're going to have to check. Kathy, who has an background in law, says, I'll look that up, but I believe the bond stays with the court, meaning, like, say they put up a $2 million house for collateral and they suicide, the court gets the house? Or does it revert to probate or something like that? That's interesting. Very interesting. I would like to know. So we'll do some digging. We're going to find that out. So the bail bondsman has insurance on bonds, and if death occurs, leaving the bond unpaid, it covers it. Aha. All right. Thank you, Sam. That's interesting. See, these are things I would never think of in normal life. Gee, what happens if I suicide and I have a $2 million bond? Who thinks that? Except, people like Lori. Hopefully she's thought that through. Let's see. Are we really here because the end of the world happened on the 22nd? Gary, we don't know. We could be living in an illusion right now. I'm pretty sure we're here. His death would result in the dismissal of the case. His failure to appear would be forgiven if the court has shown his death certificate, and the bail would be refunded. All right. Interesting. It could be different by a state. Different states could have different rules about that. So let's see what Idaho says. I do have to cough, so I'm going to mute my mic for 1 second. Okay, there we go. All right, so yes, we have survived the biggest news of the week. I forgot to cover it. We have survived the end of the world. Congratulations. Another end time prophecy has been defeated, so to speak. We survived. Now, yes, I know a lot of people say that Lori said that it wasn't until August or August 3rd or August 22nd or something. She disagreed with Chad's time. So who knows? The end of the world could be anytime. But you know what? We're still going to be here. I'm not too worried about it. The comet Neowise has passed us. It is now on its approach, or not approach. It's now heading away from Earth. It's not going to get any closer for 6,000 more years. So we don't have to worry about that. There are no asteroids in our immediate vicinity. Well, there may be a few, but we're going to be okay. So we're good. We're good. We have survived. I'm very excited. And thanks to everyone who came to the End of the World party. That was a lot of fun. We had some prizes that we gave away. Also, if anyone sees someone named Jade in chat, Jade won a $20 Ulta gift card, but has not claimed it. So, Jade, if you're around, I'd like to give you a gift card. And also, Sam, I still have to get with you for your T-shirt that you won. So let's not forget that. So that was a lot of fun. Tomorrow, we do have the hearing. So I will be live for that. And I have a special guest coming on with me. I'll let y'all speculate to see if you can figure out who that's going to be. Should be pretty obvious. But we will have a guest with us tomorrow for the hearing. We're going to talk about the hearing. And then we're going to watch the hearing, and then we're going to talk about the hearing. So it's going to be a good afternoon. It could be a long process because we're going to hear arguments from Mark Means, John Pryor, and Steve Wright, who is the lawyer for the media outlets. So we're going to have 3 different arguments to hear, plus the judges' stuff. So prepare for an afternoon. Could be a couple of hours, but I'm watching it start to finish because I need to know what's going to happen. Zelda wants to know where Zulema got money for dental implants. I don't know. She was a grifter. She stole money from ex-husbands, allegedly, all kinds of stuff. So I have no idea where she got her money. Special get. Nope, it is not Mr. Awen. Mr. Awen will not be on camera. He's working tomorrow. So there'll be someone else who often has a day off. Hi, Linda. How are you doing? I hope you're doing good. Not my verbiage. Our mod Linda is in the house. Jess says, let me jump on my private jet to come visit you. Jess, anytime. If I had a private jet, I'd send it to pick you up. So, my surprise person isn't Barr. Barr who? As in the Attorney General? No, that person would... No. No. No, a surprise guest that you all know. Come on. It's Paul. Yes, Michelle Engel and Sam, you got it right. Paul will be with me tomorrow. And he's going to come on and we're going to cover the live stream together. So that's going to be lots of fun. Department. Yeah, no, not that bar. Ugh, that person is not allowed. I'm going to get a restraining order. He's not allowed within 500 feet of me. No. So yeah, Paul will be here. We love Paul. So that'll be fun. All right. So the preliminary hearing is upcoming. I have a few suspicions as what I think Wood is going to introduce. in the preliminary hearing. If you haven't seen my video last night, it just goes over the basics of what a preliminary hearing is. A lot of people are leaving comments like they think that this is the start of the trial. It's not. It's not. This is not a trial thing. This is a pre-trial hearing where the prosecution has to prove to the judge that this warrants going to trial. Because a criminal proceeding is a big deal, especially what we're going to see here. Without a doubt, there are going to be more charges coming. Without a doubt. But they have a big, big mess to unravel before they can do that. So it's going to take some time. So, we'll just have to hold our breath for more charges. But for the judge, at least for the felony charges that we have, the conspiracy charges, he has to determine whether there's enough evidence to charge them with that, and to go through a whole criminal proceeding to deal with that. So that's what they have to do. The burden of proof in a preliminary hearing is not beyond a reasonable doubt. The burden of proof is probable cause. So it's pretty much they have to go through the same process that they use to convince a judge to give them the arrest warrants, but now they have to prove that's worth going to court. So everything that you read in the probable cause affidavit, he's going to bring all that up into it, but probably a little bit more. So we should get some new information in the prelims. The defense can raise a defense in a preliminary hearing. They can cross-examine the witnesses and debate the evidence and things like that. But they generally don't put up, unless they think, I can see Mark Means trying his affirmative defenses routine. I can see him trying. I don't think that's going to go anywhere. But, why was there no grand jury? It really depends on the state. Some states use grand juries. Some use preliminary hearings. That's pretty much it. I don't know if some states do both and what the criteria is for picking the different version, but, in this case, they just chose the prelim route. Hi, Stephanie. How are you doing? I'm glad to see you. Grey Hat Jen says, we're still in the beginning of the beginning. Absolutely. There's going to be so much more. And I think what we're going to see, do you think they will add charges tomorrow? No, I don't. Tomorrow's hearing is nothing about anything new charges or new investigation. It's just tomorrow is only about whether there should be cameras at the prelims. So as far as new charges coming, so many, like 90% of comments that I get are just, where are the murder charges? Why do they charge them with murder? This is a travesty of justice. No, it's not. It's not. There's so much going on. Remember that we have Joseph Ryan, Charles Vallow, JJ and Tylee, Tammy, and even Alex. They're looking at all of these deaths to try and see what happened. Now, granted, there isn't a formal investigation into Joseph Ryan's death. I don't think, even though I think there should be. But they've got to look at a mountain of evidence. This isn't one person that was murdered. Rob Wood is taking the whole body of evidence with all 6 deaths and being like, all right, let's figure this out top to bottom. That's a long process. They've been working on Tammy's cause of death and all of that stuff, that investigation, since December. And we have had no word of that yet. So it's going to take some time. It really is. We're waiting on lots of forensic evidence. We're waiting on a lot of investigation and stuff. But I think Rob Wood is very cautious and slow. I think he'd rather take this very slowly and make sure that, ow, saying that S really hurts. I'm going to sit like this, okay? Oh, Little Lily Died, thank you so much for the super chat. That's a great sticker. That's a new one. I haven't seen that one before. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So yeah, I think Rob Wood is going to take this very, very slow because they only have one chance, right? It's not like they can charge them with murder, go to court, not have enough evidence and lose, and then charge her again when they get more evidence. You can't do that. So they can only do it once, and he's got to do it right. So yeah, I would much rather see him take a very long time. I don't care if it takes years for him to bring big murder charges, as long as when he brings them, he's got the receipts to back it up and he can secure a conviction. So yeah, I should put a cotton ball or something on there right now. Ow. But hopefully my husband will be back in a minute with some dental wax and I'll help. We'll see. Let's see. I believe Alex sacrificed himself for insurance money. His mission was done in Underworld. That's possible. It is absolutely possible. If anyone in this group would have been willing to sacrifice themselves or suicide themselves for the mission, it probably would have been Alex. I think Alex was extraordinarily brainwashed. I forgot where I read it, and I keep meaning to look up the source of this. I think maybe it was Ian's document. Somewhere along the whole body of documents, someone said that Chad had convinced Alex that he was an angel and his mission was to protect Lori and the mission at all costs. And that Alex truly believed this. He didn't just say, oh, yeah, that sounds cool. No, he really, really believed that was his role in life, it was being this angel to protect Lori. And if he really believed that, I could easily see where they could have manipulated him into thinking he had to take his own life to protect them. So hopefully we'll get some more information. Alex was cremated, so they can't exhume him, but apparently they did take deep tissue samples before he was cremated, so maybe they can find something. Maybe they can. Miss Wee Lassie says, this case has so many rabbit holes that it's going to take a sack full of carrots to draw all the evidence. Absolutely. Think about it. I've made a video almost every single day since June 4th about this case, and I haven't covered half the players or half the topics that we could look at. There is so much to this case that, if I've been doing this for 2 months and we've barely covered half of it, can you imagine what Rob Wood's desk must look like? It's not going to be an easy investigation. Lynn, all right, that is a good... Lynn Fox says she saw that Alex was the only person with Stacy Cope when she died. I believe that is the case. Rosie, thank you so much for the super chat. Oh, that's adorable. I love the super stickers. Those are a lot of fun. Thank you. I really appreciate that, Rosie. Oh, that was a rough sip. All right, let's talk about Alex and Stacy Cope. Stacy Cope is Melanie Pulowski's mother. Stacy Cope is Lori Vallow's sister. All right, she died in 1998 after a long battle with a lot of significant illnesses. She went a little unstable, we'll call it that. She believed food was poisoning her and all this kind of stuff. But instead of following her doctor's recommendations, she went to some sort of holistic naturopath, something a la Julie Rowe type healer, right? And she passed away. Now, did she pass away of natural causes? It's certainly possible. She was not a very healthy woman. But Alex was living with her at the time that she passed away, and Alex was the only one living with her at the time. Was that the first death involved in this, or was that maybe even the second or third? We don't know, and I don't think we'll ever be able to find that out. But it's another suspicious thing. Wherever Lori and Alex go, there are deaths going back decades. It's just Alex was her caretaker. Yes, he was. Caretaker, go figure, So, but we don't know the nature of their actual relationship. It's just very, very, very fishy. It's too coincidental. It's just... So was Stacy Cope the first? Possibly. Are there other deaths related to the Cox family? Yes. We just don't know. But there's a lot of trouble. Do I think Alex killed the children? I think Alex... All right, can I tell you my personal opinion? And this is absolute speculation. Okay, please make yourself really aware, or whatever I'm trying to say. I am totally speculating here. I believe Alex killed JJ the night that they were all at Lori's apartment, and Alex took JJ because he was acting up. I believe he killed JJ. I believe Alex and Chad together killed Tylee. That's what I believe. I'm not going to give you the gory details because that's just... we don't need to do that. But I think that's who is physically responsible for the murders. Do I think Lori knew? Of course I think Lori knew. Do I think other people knew? Absolutely. I really do. So we are going to find out. If this goes to trial, we will find out. Now, remember, there's still the possibility that Chad and Lori could change their pleas to guilty, and then we won't have a trial. That would bother me a lot because we're not going to get these answers. A lot of stuff will be sealed because the children were minors. The investigation will kind of stop, maybe. So I really want this to go to trial because I think it needs to. Do I think Chad and Lori are going to plea differently on the conspiracy charges? Not at all, because I think they think they're going to beat them. But I don't think they will, but they think so. So let's see. I'm going to read chat for a second. Does that mean she will see light of day? Lori, no, I don't think so. Because remember, even if Lori did not physically kill the children herself, even if she only knew about it or took part in it, if you're charged as an accessory to murder, I really can't even talk right. If you're charged as an accessory to murder, that will carry the same penalty as a first-degree murder charge. So if they can prove that she was an accessory or she knew that Alex was killing the children or whatever, still, you can get the death penalty for that. So, you know, little lady die. I think you've been here for a while. Maybe you missed it. Why no murder charges yet? I've just been talking about that quite extensively, actually. They can't bring murder charges until they are sure that they can prove them. Does that mean there won't be? No, not at all. These things don't happen quickly. All right. They need to prove a whole lot of things. They really do. And they're working on it. I guarantee you there are going to be more charges coming, but it's going to take a while. So, and the more time they take, the more careful that they are, the better off they're going to be, because they don't want to rush into court with charges that they can't really prove yet. They've got to have all the evidence. They've got to have all the witnesses. All their ducks have to be in a row, because you only get one chance to charge someone with murder. You know, and if you mess it up, they're going to walk. So Rob Wood is too careful for that. That's all. Hi, Kelly Bell. How are you doing? It's so good to see you. Hey, Scott, I'm glad you made it. The tape is going to hold. Yep. A lot of people have been talking about the forensics that are going to come back, especially from JJ, where they have the garbage bags, they have the duct tape. You know there's going to be fingerprints on that duct tape somewhere. There's going to be DNA on the garbage bags. They'll be able to trace the garbage bags back to the lot and possibly even the store that they came from. You know, they're going to find that stuff. They really are. But it takes a long time to do all that investigating. So, you know, let's give Rob a little space there to do that. I'm sure he's going to get it done. Let's see. Anthony says, yes, they know the children are dead. Yes, they know there's a conspiracy. Yes, they know Alex was behind it. They just need to tie the dots together. Yeah. Remember, Rob Wood and law enforcement, they know so much more than we do. We know a lot about this case, but they know 10 times at least what we know. So we just got to sit back and wait. They're not going to tell us everything because, first of all, we don't need to know. But also, the more information that the investigation reveals now gives the defense more time to prepare a defense against it and come up with plausible stories of why things may have happened. So they don't want to do that. So it'll take a while. Even at the preliminary hearing, Rob Wood is not going to reveal everything he knows at the preliminary hearing. That would be silly. At this point in the case, he has not turned over the full body of discovery to the defense teams. And at the prelim, he's only going to reveal enough information that he thinks he needs to convince the judge that it needs to go to trial. So you're not even going to hear everything. You may watch the prelim and go, he didn't even talk about this. They didn't talk about Lori's cell phone. How do they not have this yet? No. He's just not going to put out all of his cards on the table before he has to. All right, so it's going to be good. Yep, just enough to show that a trial is warranted. Exactly. Let's see. Rich Girl says, I cannot believe that their weird beliefs made them think that they were going to get away with all of these delusional serial murders. I agree. That's a level of delusion that you don't see a whole lot. You know, it's really too crazy. How long has Rob Wood been a prosecutor, and does he have a winning record? Well, I'm sure if you Google him, you can find out. I don't have all the times and dates and stuff. From what I have seen of him and what I have read of his work, he is a very, very good prosecutor. A lot of people are mad because Rob Wood's a Mormon. Almost everybody in Idaho. Isn't Rexburg like 95% Mormons? That doesn't mean they can't think. That doesn't mean they're bad people. There's nothing wrong with being a Mormon. right? There's something wrong with being Chad and Lori, but I wouldn't call them mainstream Mormons either. So, Rob Wood's religion does not really factor into this as far as I'm concerned. Some people may be worried about that, but I'm not. Rexburg has many. Yep. I have one of my mods lives in Rexburg, and believe me, they are very, very, very Mormon there. So, I don't think Rob Wood being a Mormon is a factor. I can't see anyone giving either of them a deal. I can't really either, Liz. I think just from what we know, I can't see them having any room to bargain for a plea agreement. I really can't. So, Robin Swan, I'm glad. Robin Swan says she's a Mormon and she is not pro Chad and Lori. Most mainstream Mormons are not pro Chad and Lori because Chad and Lori were not mainstream Mormons. They were at one point in their lives, and then they went to Crazy Town. So there you go. But they're very different things. So let's keep that in mind going forward. If anything, it would make one more angry for doing bad things to the LDS Church and turning people against it. Exactly. Yep. And it's curious that the LDS Church has not yet come out formally with a public formal statement about all of this. They may have to, especially once the trial gets going, because there will be media from all over the world descending on the courthouse in Fremont County. So the LDS Church may have to actually address it publicly and be like, you know what? They weren't Mormon. We disavow all of their teachings, everything they ever said, yada, yada. I kind of hope they do, because I don't think it's fair for the Mormon Church to be so tarnished from the actions of two crazy people. So, but I also think the Mormon Church has a bigger problem to address. I think they need to look at all of these LDS offshoot organizations, the Preparing a People, the Come Follow Me clone thing, the Book of Mormon Truths, or whatever that whole nonsense is. There are so many people running around out there masquerading as LDS authors when what they're writing about and what they're promoting is not LDS doctrine at all. I think the church needs to take a stronger stand against that just to protect themselves, because they're still at it. If you look at the Preparing a People posters, you'll see so many names. It's not just Chad and Lori, it's really not. There's a whole lot of them, and they're still out there doing it. So, that's the problem. And, hope my husband hurries up. How is Jason J. Almay not excommunicated yet? I have no idea. I really don't. Although I did find something interesting today. I found a blog that is allegedly being written by one of these other authors who's tangentially associated with Chad and Lori. His name is Hector Sosa. I'm not doing a deep dive on him because that's a whole nother world of problems I don't need. But the link to it is in Discord, so you can check that out. All right, I've got my gum wax here. I'm not even going to read the instructions. I'm going to take a piece out and put it over the pointy thing. This should be exciting. All right, I'm going to still talk to you while I do this, but I'm going to turn the camera off because you don't really need to see this. It's not pretty. Not pretty at all. All right, but he did find the gum wax, whatever it's called. Okay, I'm still here. I'm just off camera for a bit while I do this because whatever. Oh, it's squishy. All right, please let this work, please. Okay. Yeah, Zelda just said, Awen, dry your tooth off first. Good thinking, because I put it on and it fell right off because my tooth is wet. I should have read that first. Thank you, Zelda. Let's try that. Live chat, how to fix your broken tooth. Oh. Hi, Shory. How are you? That's Shory. Should I mind? Ow. Oh, okay. I'm still here, really. Just a second. I'm having trouble getting it to stick because it's such a tiny little pokety corner. One more try. Roll it into a little ball and then stick it on. Okay. Okay, make a little tiny ball. Stuff is fun to play with, by the way. Man, it will not stick. It's just a tiny little piece. All right, I got it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, man. All right. Phew. Thank you so much for that suggestion. I've got a little piece of the wax on there. It's probably going to fall off in a minute, but for now, pain-free, I can talk. Oh, thank you. This product placement. Yes. I fully support this product, whatever. Oh, phew. That's great. Excellent suggestion. Thank you so much. So there we go. It fell off already. Yeah. Anyway. Oh well, I'll deal with it. It's okay. It's just a little pain. I've had 2 kids. I can deal with a little pain. But no, I didn't lose a filling. I was eating, and then I had a cracked tooth. When I was little, I had a lot of cavities, and the dentist that I had was not very good. So a lot of the teeth that had been filled when I was little have since cracked as an adult and sort of been loosening and spreading open. So my dentist has been fixing them as fast as he can, but another one of them cracked and a piece of it came out, which left a very sharp, like, pokety corner that is ripping the inside of my cheek as I talk. It is very painful. So I have to go to the dentist and get that done. But I can't go tomorrow because tomorrow we have the hearing for Chad and Lori, and I've got to be here for that. So we'll deal with it Tuesday. You know, I hate going to the dentist, even though my dentist lets me use the gas, which is really nice. I love that stuff. Oh, darn childhood dental villains. Exactly. Wrap it around the whole tooth. Oh, I didn't think of that. That's a good idea. That's a much better idea. It would probably stick that way. So yeah, that's what I'm dealing with today. Got some tooth issues, but all right. So tomorrow we have the hearing. All right, let me try putting this onto the whole tooth. Give me one more second. This is not exactly my ideal live stream content, but it hurts. I'll be right back. Wrong button. There we go. Now I can talk to you. All right. All right, there you go. Let's see if that sticks. Yeah, Kathy wants me to go to the dentist right before the live stream. Yeah. Can you see me trying to do a live stream covering a court hearing? Whoops. Why is my camera not on? Oh, there it is. Can you see me trying to do a live stream before a court hearing after having the gas? Nitrous? Yeah, I could see that. Didn't Paul do that once? Stormy Jess, you guys remember that? Paul came on live after he had been to the dentist that day, and he was still under the effects of the gas. That was a funny live stream. I will never forget that. So, yeah, it would be fun. Yeah, that's right. Robin Paul will be here. He could take up the slack, and I could just sit here and be funny and make clown faces and stuff. That's actually not a bad idea. I had to call my dentist in the morning, see if I can get in right about 1 o'clock. Sand it. Yeah, Lenora, I thought I was going to sand it down. I might try that later. Just take a nail file and just go for it. We'll see. Anyway, let's get back to our case at hand. Since my tooth is not, it's not hurting now, so I can still talk. So, does anyone have any questions about either the hearing tomorrow, any of the motions that were filed for the hearing tomorrow, or the preliminary hearings coming up? I'm watching chat now to take your questions. The great duo, A1 and Paul. I love working with Paul. Teething gel in the cheek. Marie, excellent idea. I'm going to do that too. I do have some of that Anbesol stuff. I can put that on my cheek. A temporary dental dam from any pharmacy for snoring. Okay. What is it? Your time. The hearing tomorrow takes place at 3:30 p.m. my time, Stormy. So add 6 to that for your time over in Ireland. Hopefully you can make it. It should be pretty good. How long do you think the prelim will go on for? I would say at least half an hour per speaker, which would be, there's 3. Remember, we have Mark Means, we have John Pryor, and we also have Steve Wright on behalf of the media. So I would guess at least 2 hours, but probably more. So I don't know. I would bank on a couple hours for that. What do we think Lori will? I'm actually not sure that Lori and Chad are going to be at the hearing tomorrow. They don't need to be. This is purely background procedural stuff. They don't need to be. They have the right to be present, but I don't think they will be. So, if you're counting on seeing them, don't be surprised if they don't show up. They might, just because they're crazy and they want to be on camera or something. But, Sarah, will it be live? If all goes well, it will be live. Unless Judge Edens steps in and says, okay, we'll take the camera out for this one, which I don't think he will, because he's already ruled that the hearings will be public. So there's no reason for him to not allow cameras tomorrow. And I do have permission to stream it from the appropriate sources. So I will be here live with you as soon as possible when it starts. Mark Means. Yeah, let's talk Mark Means. And let's talk Mark Means' motion. All right. Rob Wood filed the motion with Judge Edens, and John Pryor filed his response saying he wants a camera, blah, blah, blah. And then Mark Means filed a response. Have any of you guys read Mark Means' response? I put it in Discord. The PDF is there and you can read the documents. I read this, and I don't know what the heck this man is trying to say. The best information that we have came from Kathy, who has a legal background, and she read it and she said, well, it looks like he's trying to side with the judge, or to suck up to the judge, actually. But he never actually comes out and says, yes, I want cameras, or no, I don't want cameras. He just kind of waffles for a page and a half, citing some federal case law. What? And saying he's mad that Rob Woods filed this last minute thing. No, he filed it a week before the hearing. That's plenty of time. So he just kind of whines. It was a page and a half of whining without any real information. I don't know what to say. It was just like, what are you talking about, Mark Means? What are you trying to say? Marie Smith wants to know what time it is New Zealand time. I have no idea. No idea what New Zealand time is in relation to Texas. So I know you could probably Google a time calculator thingy. Hi, Amy Gibbs. How are you doing? And Sam says they're too camera fixated to stay in their cells. I agree. I think they might try to show up. So we might see Chad and Lori. If I were them, I wouldn't go, because why would you want to go to this hearing? But Chrissy says, I tried to tell you something twice, but I keep missing you. It's Chrissy, I'm not going to look away from chat till you tell me again. I'm sorry. I know you have to type it again, but I will stare at chat until I see your comment. I'm so sorry I missed it. Sam wants to know, when will Means be removed? I think the hearing for Means, that whole conflict of interest thing, if it hasn't happened yet, then it'll probably happen sometime after Monday, before the prelims, at least before Lori's prelim. So I don't know, but we haven't heard anything. Remember, that whole procedure is being sealed, so we won't get to know. I'm just checking to see if I see Chrissy's comment. I don't see it yet. Let me zoom up a little bit. Chrissy, I'm looking for your comment. I'm looking. There goes my tooth thing. I still don't see it. All right, I'm sorry, Christy. I'm still watching, though. So if you type it in, I will get to see it. Amy Gibbs took a 4-hour nap. Is that a nap? That's a sleep. You took a 4-hour sleep. Rich Girl says, so grateful to the greater power for positioning Mark Bus Guy Means as Lori's legal defense. Yeah. Yep. I'm pretty sure he's going to be removed from the case at some point, possibly after new charges are brought. I'm sorry, I should do this on camera. I told you guys I'd always be really real, so now you get to see. Chrissy says, no big deal. I just said that I have been in the hospital and missed your party, but I think we need another when they go down. Chrissy, we are going to have the biggest party ever when Chad and Lori are convicted. We are going to have a gigantic party. Maybe we'll even do a real life party. Well, depending on the pandemic stuff. But if that's cleared up, maybe we'll do a real get-together somewhere. That would be cool. And then we'll stream it live for people that can't go. So we'll have a giant party together. Scott says, Lori will have to be given a public defender. Now, see, honestly, Scott, if she was smart, the best thing Lori would do would be to get a public defender. They know criminal law. Mark Means does not. She would be way better off with a public defender right now, I think. Also, if this does end up having death penalty charges, Mark Means won't be able. He's not death penalty qualified, so she'll have to get a new lawyer. Bipolar Princess says, come party in Idaho. You know what? When Chad and Lori get convicted, we should all go to Rexburg and have a giant block party. I think that's a great idea. I'm down with that. Scott says, do you have any beeswax? I got this stuff. I do have some beeswax, but I don't know if it's been in my closet for about 10 years, so I don't know if I want to put that in my face. Lori said Charles had to die with pain. If that was because the zombie, same would apply to Tylee and JJ. Lori said that he had to die with pain. I don't remember the pain part of it being it, but if that is, then yeah, that's very scary. She trusts Mark Means because he's helping her with, yeah, she does trust Means, but she's obviously not the smartest tool in the shed or sharpest tool. And Stormy will be on a plane to see us in 10 hours. We'll plan the party ahead of time so you can be here in time for it, Stormy, for sure. Yep. Yeah. Now, one thing that I've been debating covering are some of the other people who are doing the same thing Chad and Lori are doing to a degree. They're all writing these NDE books. They're all spewing all of their twisted belief system and calling it LDS beliefs. And there are so many of these people. You know, it is not just Chad and Lori. They're just the tip of the iceberg. And then we have the people who are promoting all of these people. You know, that there may be no legal responsibility that they bear, but there is a huge moral, ethical, and spiritual responsibility that they bear for promoting these things. You know, and I've been talking to Sam and a few other people privately, collecting a lot of information about the extent that these groups reach, how many types of these authors there are, and how many of these conventions we see all over the place. And there are more than I ever thought we would find. And I'm kind of surprised at how prevalent this extremist ideology really is. You wouldn't expect to see that. I didn't. Maybe I was too naive, but it's a big deal. And I think it's something that we should have a bigger talk about. And I hope at some point in the case as it goes forward, that becomes a focus. I would like to see mainstream media pick up on that and be like, hey, you think Chad and Lori are crazy? Yeah, we'll meet these 45 other people. You know, these people are in your backyard. They're your neighbors. They're writing all these books. They're having their conventions all over the country, promoting these crazy beliefs. At what point do we have to say as a society, these crazy beliefs need to not be listened to, you know, because they lead to more crazy. And now we have a situation where we have this many dead people. Crazy beliefs have led to Heaven's Gate. They led to Jonestown. They led to many doomsday cults where people actually took their own lives or were killed. So it's a big problem. How many books has Chad sold? A lot. I don't know how much money he's made. He wrote a ton of books because the guy could not stop writing books. How many he actually sold, I don't have a count. He obviously didn't make millions of dollars because, you know, look at where he lived and stuff. But I think he was making a decent amount. I hope the government is investigating these groups now behind the scene. I do too. I wouldn't be surprised if they are. The FBI has been in contact with Christopher Parrott from Avow. Christopher says he invited them to come talk to him. Who knows what the actual truth is there. But they're certainly aware of Avow. They're aware of Christopher Parrott. If I was an FBI agent, I would be reading through that forum, wouldn't you? I would have downloaded the entire thing and be picking that sucker apart so fast and taking names from it. So I would think the FBI is doing that. I would guess. We'll have to see. Agreed about the extremist ideologies operating under the LDS umbrella. It's a tricky subject. Professor Cecily Cogsworth, that's a great name, by the way. It is a very tricky subject because I want to talk about it, but I want to talk about it in a way that doesn't offend mainstream Mormons who are not practicing this crazy ideology. But we have to be honest. We have to talk about what parts of the Mormon faith allow and encourage this sort of thinking. Even the church does not. The church does not allow and promote these beliefs, but there are parts of the Mormon faith that make prophecy and visions and revelation and things like this seem kind of normal, where you may not question it at first, right? And it may take root before someone finally says, hey, wait a minute, that's not right. But by that time it's too late. It's already gotten out there. So I think it's a big conversation that we should have, but we have to have it very delicately because all Mormons are not crazy. I'm not saying that. And a lot of people think I am because people don't listen to me. But what I'm saying is I do not think Mormons are crazy. I think Chad and Lori are, and I think there are some parts of Mormonism that enable crazier beliefs to happen as a result. But I think the church needs to take a much more clear stance against this sort of thing. I'd like to see that. Let's see, check up on chat. Kind of reminds me of Hitler. At first he was just pissed that his fellow countrymen were starving, but then he went Fruit Loopy. The scary part is that they are preying upon people. They aren't ignorant. This is calculated manipulation. Sam, that's a really good point. It really is. Because Chad and Lori, and even all of these other NDE authors and all of these people that go to these conventions and things, they're preying on people. They're preying on people who need hope. Look at Julie Rowe. Excuse me. Julie Rowe is out there trying to sell herself like she can cure COVID with her energy healing. That's not cool. That is not cool at all. She cannot cure COVID. But she's out there peddling hope to people that may be feeling hopeless or scared. They're playing on people's fears. That's what the whole doomsday prepper thing is about. The doomsday prepper websites, you can go and you can spend a fortune on tents and food supplies and fuel and all of this stuff. They're selling a solution to your fear after making you afraid. This is what we call problem reaction solution. They create the problem. The world's going to end. You're going to die. They give you the reaction and then they propose the solution. But if you just spend all of your money with us, we'll make sure you have a tent and you'll be fine. Right? That's a trick as old as time. Problem, reaction, solution. It's a very common thing. And these people are masters of it. And it's a big problem. And I think too many people are falling for it, especially right now with what we have going on in the world. 2020 has probably been one of the scariest years we've seen in a very long time. So the market for problem, reaction, solution things is very big. And the more people that come up with their solutions, the more money they're going to make. So that's what I think is going on here. Let's see. No, I totally understand what you're saying. I truly wish more Mormon people would speak up against them, saying it isn't one. I do too. Chrissy, I really want to see the Mormon Church. I would like to see the Quorum of the 12 Apostles come out with a formal statement saying the LDS Church does not support this group or this sort of, not just Chad and Lori, the whole groups of people out there pretending to be mainstream Mormons selling their craziness. I would like to see that. The church paper is Deseret. Yes, Deseret Books, Deseret Paper, that kind of thing. Deseret website. I think they even have a website. That is the actual church. Any more info on Ian Pulowski? Not yet. I think Ian's kind of trying to keep a low profile. Was rewatching some of his interviews that he did with Melanie, and just look at the guy. He's slumping. He's leaning away from her. He's keeping his head down. I don't think he's real happy about this whole being on camera thing. But I'm still trying to figure Ian out. Their relationship is really weird. I know that if I had just gotten married and the FBI asked my husband to wear a wire because they were suspicious of me and wanted information about missing children, he would have been probably very angry, and I don't think our marriage would have survived that. And then if I had found out that my husband was wearing a wire and spying on me, I wouldn't have been very happy. I don't think our marriage would have survived. So I have a hard time understanding why Melanie and Ian are still married. But I think they got married for a very specific purpose. And we just haven't gotten to the root of that purpose yet. A lot of suspicions, but we got to prove it. Chris said, I grew up in Utah and my dad joined a crazy militia. And there were so many offshoot cults out there. Yep. The militias and the religious extremist thing, they kind of go hand in hand in a lot of places. So there's a lot of that. Zulema was known to help change sexual desires of her clients. Oh, yeah. As far as Zulema goes, I'm not going to do a deep dive on her, mainly because first, she's just crazy. She's only tangentially related to this. I don't think she killed Alex. She wasn't even home at the time. She may have been there and then left. I mean, we don't know for sure. But I don't know. She's really crazy. She thinks she can cause earthquakes and crazy with this people. There is one. I did listen to one of her podcasts over on Denise's channel. Link is in the description. Zulema, she's just as whacked out as the rest of them. You know, it's like I don't want to look at Zulema because I want my brain cells to stay intact. Marie Smith, I'm not sure what your comment means. I'm sorry. Scott says, I would have dropped her like a hot potato. Can only speculate the group has something on film, or he was more involved and will end up going down with the others. Scott, that's quite possible. He's trying to protect himself by staying on their good side, so to speak. Zulema's married more times than Lori Sick. Yes, she has. I think Zulema is a professional grifter. I think she goes from husband to husband, bilks them for every penny she can, you know, and then divorces them or they disappear. So, pregnant women go to prison and the child is, yeah, that does happen. Let's see. What else is going on in chat? Sorry, I'm looking at the moderated comments because I get nosy. I just want to see what was said. Oh. Sam says it's like the purge, but spiritual. Yeah, definitely. These folks who used to be legitimate Mormons, but they begin subcultures that seem extreme. Yep. And there's a lot of them. There's a lot. It's not just a vow. It's not just Chad and Lori. It's not just preparing a people. There are so many different groups like this. It blew my mind when I started digging. All right, what's really out there? It's amazing. I think there are more LDS offshoot believers than there are LDS believers. You know, it's like something has to be done about this. This is crazy. The FBI used the riot act on... Oh, you're talking about like a RICO lawsuit? I'm not sure that's going to play here because they're not technically an organization. I don't know if this is going to meet up to RICO standards. I don't see that. It's possible, but probably not. These people are walking around. Unbelievable that these people are walking around. And you wonder why I want the off-grid cabin in the mountains. Yeah. But that's how it starts for a lot of them, Scott. They want to go off-grid and go live in the mountains and be a survivalist type. And then they end up with their doomsday friends. And, you know, be careful. Don't do that. Patrice Mitchell, thank you so much. She says, I enjoy you and I want to support you. Thank you so much for the super chat. Those are fantastic. And they do help me. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, so be careful, Scott. If you're going to go live off-grid, make sure at least one of us can reach you or something so you don't slip into that. I listened to someone read Chad's e-trash so that I didn't have to. Yep. Yes, Chad had a blog that was kind of ridiculous. I have a hard time with Chad's blog because it's not written very well. I know that he's written a lot of books, but he does not have a very good grasp on the English language. So reading his blog was even worse. So, but Denise has some videos up where she reads you some things from Chad's blog and shows you some of the images. So you can check that out. The mods are putting links in the channel every once in a while, and they'll get to Denise's channel. So when you find it, please go sub to that, and you can watch a lot of stuff. Chad's blog was boring. It was boring and bad. Not even interesting. Yeah. Robin Swan wants her own island. Me too. And I've been making one in a video game I've been playing called Stranded Deep, where you get to make your own island. So yeah, that's kind of nice. Tammy probably did most of the editing. Mm-hmm. No doubt. I think Tammy probably edited. Yep. Chad appears to be in age 8 and magical thinking. Yes, Chad is a little crazy. Don't you dare lump me into those groups. Absolutely. Yeah, peace and quiet, yes. Doomsday cults, no. Doomsday cults are bad. I need to cough once more. Let me mute my microphone. Okay, there we go. All right, so we've been on here for a little over an hour. Does anyone have any questions about anything that's upcoming or anything that happened this week? We have all the filings in the motion to reconsider. We have the hearing tomorrow, which is a hearing on the motion to reconsider. We have Chad's preliminary hearing coming up for August 3rd and 4th. Lori's preliminary hearing coming up for August 10th and 11th. I believe that the conflict of interest stuff was going to take place between tomorrow's hearing and Lori's hearing. So we're probably going to have to wait until August 10th to see if she shows up with means or not to find out what happened, because that's all been sealed. Although, if she does get new representation, they will have to file a notice of appearance with the court. That we should see. So we should get a heads up if she gets a new attorney. I will keep my eye out for that. Tammy may have loved dearly enough to stay with him right up to the end. I agree she did. I think she did. Don't know why, but I think she did. Tara. Tara, thank you for the super chat. Tara says, considering the overwhelmingly negative public response to these crimes, why on earth did Chad and Lori request jury trials? Seems stupid. Thoughts? I agree. First of all, I don't think they understand how much trouble they're in. I think that Chad and Lori both really believe that they can say, well, Alex was the one that killed him, not us. You can't charge us with murder. They don't understand how the law works. So I believe that they're under this false impression that if they pin it on Alex, then they can get away with it. That's not going to happen. So I think that's part of the reason where they pled not guilty, and they think a jury trial is their way to go. Certainly Lori thinks she can charm a jury. I don't think she's going to be able to. Chad, I don't know what Chad thinks he's got going for him. He has the charm of a potato. So, but I really think that they just don't understand that if they're charged as conspirators and accessories and all of that, they can still face the same penalty. So they're not very bright. That's it. Do they turn over the discovery and the preliminary hearings for Chad and Lori? No, Sandra, they do not have to yet. I guess that depends on states and all of this, but I think what we're talking about here for Chad and Lori, Rob Wood will not have turned over the full body of discovery to the defense at the preliminary hearing. So that also means that we're not going to see everything that Rob Wood has up his sleeve at the prelim. He's only going to use just enough information to convince the judge that it has to go to trial. So Chad has potato portal power. I think he does. Will they be wearing masks? Patty, that depends if it's going to be an in-person hearing or if it's just going to be like a Zoom type hearing like we've seen before. So I don't know. I don't believe tomorrow's hearing is going to... Well, tomorrow's might be in person. I don't know. We're just going to have to wait and see. I have no idea. Let's see. Third time the charm. Do you think that what is in the affidavit now is sufficient for probable cause, or do you think additional info will be needed? I believe that there will be more at the preliminary hearing, although the information that is in both of the probable cause affidavits for the conspiracy charges is pretty solid. I think a little bit more is going to be needed to convince Judge Edens to send it to trial. So I do think we'll see a little bit more. Not too much more, but there will be something. That could be part of the reason that Rob Wood wants the camera removed from the courtroom, because there'll be more information coming that we haven't heard yet. But then again, if he was going to do that, why would he agree to release audio and transcripts? Why not just have it sealed? So, yeah, we're just going to have to wait and see. I wonder what Lori's demeanor was when the 22nd came and went. Yeah, me too. Chris says, this group is just awesome. I love being here with you guys. So glad I found you. Oh, Chris, we're glad to have you with us too. I'm really glad you're here. This group is a lot of fun. It really is. It's very chill. Chad probably married to all the female jurors in another life. Yes, no doubt. He'll be sitting there. I was married to you in another life, to the jurors when the judge isn't looking. Chad thinks he's, Chad. Gray Hat Lion, again, beginning of the beginning, peeps. Get comfy. This could be quite some time. Charges is a massive case like this coming in waves. Yep. And remember, even if we see new charges this week, that's not going to be the end of them. There could be more charges 6 months from now or 6 months from then as more information is uncovered. Remember, Rob Wood is now a special prosecutor in the case, which means he can bring charges on any cases that arise as part of the investigation of this case. So right now he's investigating the felony conspiracy charges, right, to hide or whatever with the evidence. Anything that arises as a result from that, he can bring charges for, which could include Charles's death, Tammy's death, Alex's death, on and on and on. Even the fraud charges with her using the money from the children's benefits and stuff like that. So there could be so much more. So much more. So we just got to be a little patient, which is not my forte. I was told the other day by one of my mods, Ewan, patience isn't your strong suit. You think? I try to be patient. I'm not a patient person. But yeah, this could go on for years, guys. It really could. So we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. Let's see. Good question, Nina. Nina says, is there a time on when murder charges must be filed in the state? The time limit, I think you're right to a quick and speedy trial means 14 days after charges are brought, something has to be done. But they waived that right, I think, in one of the first hearings. At least Mark Means did. So, yeah, I don't think there's a time limit. The statute of limitations, I don't think that comes into play when it comes to murder. I don't think so. Maybe. I mean, I'm not a lawyer. But I will forward that over to our legal friends and get a firm answer for you on that. Scott says, good luck with the tooth. I hope you manage some pain relief before you get to your dentist. Thank you. My tooth doesn't hurt at all. It's just the part where it was poking me in my cheek. But now with this nice little wax that's sticking on there now, it doesn't hurt at all. I'm very happy. So thank you for that suggestion again. Man, that was a lifesaver. Melanie Gibb will turn green. Yeah, that one. What about Melanie Pulowski? Melanie Pulowski is in some trouble. We know that she is currently a person of interest in the shooting attempt of Brandon, as well as the deaths of Tylee and JJ. And to what degree, I have no idea, but that's what was mentioned in Detective Pillar's statement in Brandon's custody hearing. So Melanie Pulowski is getting looked at in a pretty big way. Granted, the custody hearing is certainly not a criminal proceeding. She's not going to get charges from that. But again, the burden of proof isn't quite as harsh in there. But enough information may come out through that hearing and that investigation that could then be forwarded up to Rob Wood and lead to more charges for her. So we're going to have to see. Melanie P. being free makes me nervous. Yep, me too. It definitely makes me nervous. Melanie Gibb, that's another one that I'm definitely keeping my eye on. You guys know I have some very strong opinions about Melanie Gibb. We tend to get into a few scraps about that here and there. But I've given that a lot of thought over the last few days. I really thought very long and very hard about Melanie Gibb. And the bottom line is I always come back to, she knew that they thought Charles was a zombie. And she knew that Alex killed Charles. And then she knew that Lori thought the kids were zombies. And right there in that minute, she did nothing. And that's it. Nothing she could ever say will change my mind on that, period. So that's how I feel about Melanie Gibb. She should have been talking. Yep, I agree. Spudley, is that what we're calling him? Spudley Daybell. All we need is one person to turn other than Melanie G. Yeah. Agreed, Scott. Gray Hat Jen, we have mutual Melanie Gibb feelings. Good. I know some people are a little bit softer on Melanie Gibb than I am, and I get that. I really do. But when I think about if it was one of my friends and my children that died, suppose, my husband had my kids and one of his friends knew that he thought they were zombies and that his other ex had already died and they didn't intervene, I could never forgive them. Could you? So Marie Smith says she thinks Alex was murdered too. I'm not sure if he was murdered or he killed himself, but whatever happened to Alex, I do not think it was natural causes. I don't think the guy just randomly up and had a heart attack. I don't believe that for a hot second. I really don't. So, guys, if we could keep chat clean as far as the words we use, just to help keep the channel from getting demonetized and stuff, I'd appreciate it. That's all. I'm not trying to censor your freedom of speech or anything, but what do we know about someone named Little Bear? Oh, goodness. Oh, Tara. Tara, you just want bobs dropped everywhere, huh? I know quite a lot about Mr. Sean Little Bear. Let me ponder that, how far I'm willing to go about him, okay? If you want to look up, just Google him. He was part of the Preparing a People group. Nancy expresses extreme fondness and adoration for Sean Little Bear, despite, of course, now she'll come on here and tell me she never knew him or some such. Hi, Nancy. Michael, how are you guys doing? Sorry. Yeah. But yeah, Google Sean Little Bear. And yeah, I'm going to have to ponder that and see if I want to go down that route. But it's definitely something to look into if you're interested in more of the Preparing a People. Hector Sosa, Sean Little Bear is interesting. Of course, Julie Rose, part of that. Yeah. Scott is off to make dinner. Okay, have a great dinner. Bluefish, that sounds fantastic. Take care, Scott. And yeah, I'm available whenever. Pop into Discord. I'll probably be hanging out in the voice chat room later. So come by and say hi if you're around after dinner. Poor Michael and Nancy James, so sad. There's something that just came. Oh yeah, Hector Sosa's blog. Can I eye roll hard enough on this camera for you to see what I think of Hector Sosa? Hector, you and I gotta talk, buddy boy. Hector has a blog. Allegedly, I'm pretty sure it's his blog. I read through as much of it as I could stomach today. I even had Kathy help me reading it because I was like, Kathy, I can't with this. Help me read this crazy stuff. So we were reading through it, and it's so crazy. The whole thing is just crazy. And you know the phrase, methinks he doth protest too much. If you wanted to ever see a classic example of this, check out his blog. The link is in Discord. He goes on one paragraph saying, I didn't know Portal Boy. I only heard about him last week. Now, this was posted on what, July 25th? Hector Sosa only heard about Chad last week. Really? Dude. Right. But then in the next paragraph, he goes on to say that he went to dinner with Julie Rowe a while back and Chad was there at the table with them. I'm like, so did you not know about him till last week, or did you have dinner with him a long time ago with Julie Rowe? Which is it, Hector Sosa? Can you not follow your own story from one paragraph to the next? It's just, but that's how all of these people are. They're all that crazy. They're all that delusional. You will never get a true story out of any of them. So, man. And then the whole rest of this post is, I don't do this, I don't do that, I didn't say this, I didn't do that. And like, yes, you did. I could prove almost every single thing in that blog post that he's saying he didn't do. And I don't even know the guy. So I don't know who he think he's fooling, but geez Louise, he's a Julie Rowe wannabe. Now there's something to aspire to. Oh, Stormy, that's terrible. Huh. That's worrisome if science can't prove it. I'm not sure. I'm sorry I missed that conversation. The delusional gene runs strong in this package. Rich girl, it really, really does. Yeah. Sarah Perigo, I absolutely agree with your comment. 100%. Mm-hmm. Yep. Who is Hector? Becky Pooh. Hector Sosa is another one of these authors that was hawked around the country by Preparing a People by Michael and Nancy James. Another one of these, not really Mormon, but promotes or touts themselves as mainstream Mormon people who, I don't know how, he claims in his post that he still has temple recommends and all, but I don't know how with the stuff that he says. So maybe the church just hasn't caught on to them yet. Maybe they need a tip. Hey, Mr. Bednar, Elder Bednar, my buddy, can you check out Hector Sosa for me? And while you're at it, Ace and J Almay, because they're not promoting your church very well. You might want to check up on that. So yeah, that's who these people are. Do you think Ace and J Almay had anything to do with the cleanup for Lori and Charles's death? Marie, I'm not sure. All I know is that guy keeps popping up places where he should not be. So he's very under the radar, but he's there enough to make me say, why would you be there at that particular time? That's not a place you should be. So I'm extremely suspicious of that person. None of them are real members. Yeah, Dee Dee, I agree. Although Hector Sosa says he is. He says he's a Melchizedek priest. He says he's got temple recommends, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, really? Really? Have I met Elder Bednar? No. Goodness, no. No. I do not want to meet Elder Bednar. I call him my buddy in a very colloquial, euphemistic sort of way. But if any was going to look at these people, I wish he would, send Elder Bednar a few free copies of some of their books and be like, look at this. These are your people. You might want to have a word with them, If I were Mormon, let me show that comment. If I were Mormon, I would be pissed that the church has not come out with an official statement instead of relying on their membership to disavow these crazy. Tara, I could not possibly agree with you more. I really wish they would too. Because remember, if the church, Mommy's line, you have met Elder Bednar. Oh, you and I got to talk. If you send me an email, we can have a conversation. I want to talk to you. Stay away from elders, Awen. You are way too young. Yeah, I don't want to be an elder. I just want to talk to him. Tara, your comment. I think, Tara, if the church came out with much more strongly worded statements or something, disavowing all of these crazy types of things, maybe we'd see less of it. Because at least, the authors wouldn't stop. They would keep trying to sell their stuff. But maybe the average person, the average Mormon would look at them and go, oh, that's the stuff the elders told us not to look at. I get it now. I'm not going to look at that. I think they need to be a little more proactive about that. I really wish they would be. The church ignores the offshoots. Yeah. And there's something to be said for ignoring it. There really is. I can see the point for just ignoring it and just, let it go. They'll go away. But it's kind of reaching a fever pitch. Just from what I've uncovered, just from some simple Googling and looking up some names and things, there are so many people involved in this. It's way bigger than we think. So I think they scared the 2020 reporters. Who scared the 2020 reporters? The fundamentalists? Yeah. The church is busy filling the holes in their boat. They're bleeding members left, right, and center. Well, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, Mommy, if you know Elder Bednar, I would love to talk to you. That would be. I did a deep dive specifically about Elder Bednar after one of his videos that I caught. That, oh my goodness gracious, I'd like to sit down and chat with him. Not that I'd really like the attention of the quorum of the 12 apostles. I don't. They can just stay away from me. But, still, it would be interesting one day to be like, can I just pick your brain and ask you some questions? The Mormon elders seem to me like the Scientology leaders and the Rich Girl. I think they're a lot different than that. So different that I think this is a topic we should probably steer away from. So, new topic time. La la la. The ones marrying seventh. Oh yeah, Andrew. That whole thing, like Warren Jeffs and all that. That's disgusting. So Chad was excommunicated, and what about we don't know if Chad was excommunicated. Some people say he was, some people say he wasn't. We don't know for sure. The only way that we would know for sure is if the church came out and said so. We know for sure that Julie Rowe was, but we don't know if Chad was. So, but good night, Patty. Have a good night, and thank you for being here. Yeah. Jeff Warren, Jeffs, whatever. They're all the same. You can't regulate crazy. Misty, you're absolutely right. We can't. Yes, Jess Nelson wants to talk about makeup because it's much safer than talking about the Quorum of the 12 Apostles. And she's right, really. Yeah, even with all the makeup drama going on, it's still a much safer topic. So, yes, he was for sure, December 24th, 2019. Dee, do you have a source for that? If you can get me a source for that, like some sort of official statement from somebody official or a document or something, that would be fantastic. I would love to get my hands on that. Because, yeah, I would like to know if he was really, for sure, excommunicated. I hope he was. He should have been. Oh. Nate Eaton needs a medal. He does. I think Nate and Justin could be cruising towards, like, Pulitzers for their coverage of this case. You know? Without the two of them, I don't think we'd know hardly anything at all. So Nate and Justin have done phenomenal work. My new Harry Potter makeup brushes. Oh, you got them. All right. Tara got the Harry Potter makeup brushes from Ulta. Excellent. I hope you like them. They're really, really good brushes. Oh, here comes my wax. My wax cover is gone. Oh, no. My tooth is exposed. Oh, no. Oh. Which ones marry you out as soon as you can walk? Which believe in lizard-esque people? Yuck. The wax thing broke, and now I have pieces of wax in my mouth. Are they selling his books? I'm not sure. I don't... Last I checked, Chad's books were still on Amazon. So... Ow. That hurts. All right, so... Are there any other questions about the hearings coming up? The one tomorrow, or the prelims, or what a preliminary hearing is, or anything like that, etc., etc. While I'm here, I'm going to get a new piece of wax while I watch chat for a minute, because that just hurts. It would be nice to go to the dentist tomorrow about 1 o'clock and get home right before the hearing, all happy on the gas, try to talk about legal stuff. That would be hilarious. Hi, DJ. How are you doing? Rob Wood has a very big job. You're absolutely right, Marie. Yep, the Chad books are still on Amazon as of today. Yeah, they are. Then again, I suppose if you're Amazon, wouldn't it be more prudent to wait for Chad to be charged? I mean, convicted of something before pulling his books down? I don't know, because innocent until proven guilty. I don't know how Amazon thinks, but yeah. I'm going to turn off the camera for 1 second and put more wax on my tooth. 1 second. Okay. There we go. All right, hit the wrong button. There we go. All right, pain-free again. I put a bigger piece of wax now, so now it feels like my face is up to here. Just a tiny little thing. But you can see it. Looks terrible. I'll keep my mouth very closed like this so that you don't see it. Wax on, wax off. There you go. Try the tooth. I did. Yeah, I tried. It's sticking a little bit better. Tooth wax can be a big help. Yep. I'm going to have to leave it on like this until I get to my dentist. Because that hurt. Becky wants to know how Chad lost weight. Well, I don't think it was keto. I can tell you about keto, but I don't know what plan Chad used. Maybe just guilt. Maybe that's why I'm overweight, because I'm not a guilty person, because I've never done bad things. I was talking to my mother at one point about weight loss, and I said, do you know what I wouldn't give to be able to eat anything I wanted and just be skinny? What I wouldn't give for that. You know, if there's only a pill I could take that would make that happen. My mom goes, oh, well, you could try meth. Those meth people are always skinny. Did you just tell me to take meth? This is my mother. I don't think she knows what meth really is. So, yeah. Oh, goodness. That's my mom. Yeah, she's not really telling me to take meth. I don't think she had any idea what she was talking about. I'm like, okay. Ugh, thanks, Mom. Yes, A1 Weekly Roundup, the tooth wax. How to apply wax teeth or how not to apply wax to your teeth. Something. But, whew. Yeah, Margaret, meth. Meth is my mother's answer to weight loss. Not a nice, healthy diet, not exercise. No, just take meth. They're always skinny. Thanks. Thanks, Mom. Yeah. My mom's great. She's losing it a little bit now. She's in her upper 80s, but she's still the best mom. Oh goodness. Someone had a theory that Chad was on meth. I don't think he was on meth. He does not look like a meth head at all. But that's true, Liz. If I was on meth, maybe this tooth would have just fallen out completely, and it wouldn't be stabbing me in the face. That'd be okay. Yeah. 90 pounds. No, I'd settle for 150. That's kind of my goal. I'll get there. We'll do that. Oh, all right. So I'm going to go and fight with this tooth because it is driving me bananas. We've been on here for an hour and a half. If there are any other questions, now's your chance while I'm watching chat again before we leave. I keep messing with it with my tongue. I can't stop. So I'm sure that doesn't look great on camera. Joe, Charles, and Chad lost weight. Interesting. Good night, Liz. Yep, I'll see you tomorrow for the hearing. If Means get replaced because he's out of his depth, can the new lawyer throw out some of the previous requests and decisions? I believe the new lawyer would be able to undo any of Means's prior motions and stuff, possibly. Depends on what the rulings were and how far it's progressed, I think. I'm not entirely sure. Curious Cat, we should have a ruling on the motions. The hearing is to get a ruling. So I'm pretty sure we're going to hear from Means. We'll hear from Pryor. We'll hear from Steve Wright. And then the judge will make his ruling about the cameras. So we should know at the end of that and find out what's going to happen. So yeah, please join me tomorrow. Remember, tomorrow I'm going to go live probably about 2:45 Central Time. I will post it up as early as I can, so you'll have a link. I'll have the link in Discord, Facebook, Twitter, on the community tab for my YouTube page. So, because I know notifications don't work half the time, so I'll post it everywhere with plenty of time. We'll start early so we can talk about what's going to happen. Maybe go through the motions a little bit that have been filed. Then we'll watch the hearing. I'll be quiet while we watch it, and then we'll talk about what we saw because it should be pretty interesting. But we should know his ruling after that, and it could take a couple hours. It could be 20 minutes. I have no idea. So prepare for the long haul, and hopefully it'll be kind of quick. But I will see you all tomorrow. Please, if you ring the notification down below, you'll definitely get notified when I go live. So there you go. Thank you all for being here. Thank you so much for the super chats. If I missed one, I'm terribly sorry. I try very hard not to miss those. But thank you. That really means a lot to me, and it really does help me to keep doing this. So thank you so much. All right. So join us in Discord. Join me on Patreon for more deep divey stuff. We're currently revamping Patreon and getting a lot of stuff up there. So that's a fun place to hang out. Discord is great, and Discord is totally free. Come hang out with me and the community all day long. So I will talk to you all soon. Thank you for being here. And yay, I'm not blurry. Woo, I'm so excited. All right. Good night, everyone. Have a good night's sleep because tomorrow we got court.